In my book, there's a section towards the end called How to Kill Bitcoin, a Beginner's Guide. And I go through a bunch of scenarios of how Bitcoin could be killed. And most of them you hear on the news, 51% attack or something or the other. And I don't find any of the common attacks against Bitcoin to be a convincing possibility for one very important reason. And I'm not a programmer and I'm not very good at technical issues, but I see the one problem with all of these things is that what is needed to destroy Bitcoin is against the economic incentives of many, many, many people who will act against it. That's really what protects Bitcoin. And so while writing the book, I came up with, and thinking this chapter through, I came up with what I think is maybe the most credible threat to Bitcoin. If you really wanted to kill Bitcoin, I think the answer is not to attack it or destroy it or to put people in jail or all that stuff. All of that stuff is just feeding Bitcoin. Because remember, Bitcoin, as Andreas himself calls it, it's the rat sewer. It's lived and grown off of all of these horrible things. And the more horrible things you do to it, the stronger it becomes. But you know what would really annoy the rat sewer? Put him in a 5-star hotel and clean him up. And the way that you could kill the demand for Bitcoin is not to try and fight it, but to try to kill the economic incentives for it, to try to kill the reason that people want to use it. So if you think Bitcoin is about cheap transactions or all of those things, then make business credit card fees lower. But I don't think that's the case. I think people use Bitcoin to escape inflation and to escape government control of money. So if you want to kill Bitcoin, I think a return to the 19th century gold standard, perhaps with added cryptographic security so that the central bank can't interfere with your supply. So, they can't manage the money supply because the money supply is gold, and they can't manage your crypto. They can't tell you who to send your money to because it's all cryptographically determined by the validity of the private key. I think if governments moved towards that, it would seriously undermine demand for Bitcoin. I don't know if it would kill it though, because I still think in the long run, the hardness of producing it will likely mean it will probably outcompete gold in the long run, maybe. I don't know. It's impossible to make such predictions, but I think if you wanted to kill Bitcoin, this is probably your best bet. Gold and cryptography and going back to sound monetary system. And the advantage or the case that I could make for why this could kill Bitcoin is that, well, gold is far more distributed over the planet. Far more people know it. Far more people trust it and believe in it and understand it and have touched it. And maybe that 6,000-year first mover advantage, maybe that might be enough to supplant the Bitcoin sort of faster confirmation times for Bitcoin transactions as opposed to gold transactions. But who knows?